You are listening to the Joyce Aldrich Show from Toronto, Canada. Paranormal and UFO Edition. Yes, we call them UFOs.
Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight, might be Venus or some unknown light, hovering a bit too long tonight. Starlight and street lights and weather balloons, or something strange out of a five-star cartoon.
That theme music, that is the theme music for psychic medium Brough Perkins, who's in studio with us tonight to do some free mini readings for a few very special people who have joined us tonight. And so wonderful to have you here, Brough, someone who does readings that aim to heal the past and the present, setting your future free. And it's always great to have you on. Welcome aboard.
Joyce!
Bro!
Nice I want to say nice to see you.
Why so darn formal? Are you seeing
Wow.
me?
I'm seeing you in my mind.
What am I wearing? What am I wearing?
Beautiful slippers, the sparkly ones, and you've got maybe I don't know what top you're wearing. I wanted to say lavender or salmon, but probably gray because I can't see for real. Not right now.
Okay, salmon flowers on a black background.
All right, I'll accept it.
You missed that's pretty damn good. I'm glad I wore clothes tonight. Anyway, that salmon could be another color completely.
I'm in nothing but a Speedo as per usual with a cup of tea.
Well, there we go. So we're going to have a wonderful Saturday night of psychic readings. So, okay, so you've been doing psychic readings for a goodly amount of time, and you are internationally renowned and very busy. You are like booked 3 months in advance. So tonight's kind of special to get to have a little snippet of wonderful people get a reading from you tonight after you've worked all day.
That's right. I take no days off. I work every day. But yeah, the wait list, it's down to about a month right now because people get a little more busy in the springtime. So if you wanted to hop ahead of the long wait list, now is the time to book.
Oh, cool. That's wonderful.
You can go to my website, which is, of course, broughperkins.ca, BROUGHPERKINS.ca.
Excellent.
And you can schedule yourself in for late next month.
Yeah, just go to the schedule a reading tab, and you've got a great scheduler there. It's works great. So yeah, all good. And I noticed you can actually pay with PayPal now. Is that new?
No, it was always there. I added a new processor that lets you use a credit card as well. So now we have PayPal or credit card, whatever works. But it's easier for people to pay off slowly, for a reading. Although I keep my prices really low. compared to other stuff.
That's you do. And no, it's just great because I don't have a credit card, so PayPal That's
Yeah,
my
paper.
that's my means. But anyway, yeah. So tonight you're going to be doing. We have 3 people lined up for readings tonight, and I advise them not to give too much information, and for them and for our audience who's listening, how do you like people to approach you for the readings?
Well, when you come to me privately for a session, you don't tell me a thing. What you do is you book your reading first. And by the way, a busy psychic is a good sign, folks. Okay. I get a lot of emails being like, do you have a cancellation? Can I see you sooner? It's like, no, you can't. And also, it's a good thing that I'm busy. The other thing is you write down all of your questions ahead of time on a piece of paper. And it can be topical. A lot of people think of it like journaling to the universe.
Interesting.
And they don't tell me what they write. They just sit down. I either get on Zoom or Skype or a phone call, and I start to tell them what I see. And sure enough, by the end of the reading, my clients tell me that I've gone through everything they wrote in the order that they wrote it, topically, I should say. And also a couple of surprises they're not expecting to hear. Sometimes a loved one pops in. Sometimes you hear an outcome about a situation you didn't even know you had. On 3 occasions in the 25 years that I've worked, I have seen for clients that they had a sibling that they didn't even know they had. They go, no, I don't have a brother. Of course, all of their mothers were dead in these cases.
Wow.
Turned out years after their reading with me, they did have a brother. Every case was a brother, and it just funnily enough. And these brothers had found their siblings, and one of them even became a client of mine. So your dead mother may have a secret to tell you about your family history. Of course, she gave up the kids for adoption before she had her other kids. So, as was the case back then, it was very difficult for single mothers who were unwed. A lot of them would give up their children to adoption.
Well, I know my mother worked for the Children's Aid Society in Ottawa for 6.5 years, and she was in home finding, and the files were absolutely sealed back then in the 1960s, 70s, even. And it really, you couldn't find out who your birth parents were at all. Yeah, so it was a lot of secrets, a lot of things hidden. So, do you want to start off with the readings then? You see, there's 3 people there. We got Trent,
Yeah,
Tamara, and Sandra. What do you? It's up to you because you're the psychic. You're tapped
we should
in.
bring them in. We should bring them in. But here's the thing. So this setup on a radio show is a little different than a private reading with me. In this case, I would prefer that they zone in on a specific question for me. However, don't tell me your life story. Just kind of give me the area, frame it in a question, and we'll see what comes. And I might even add some things you're not expecting, just in the case of this, because otherwise we'll be here for a full reading and we'll have 3 hours we have to do the show because I'd have 3 readings. So we need to zone it in on a specific question in this case.
Got it. Yeah, that's what I figured, and because you had said maybe they can ask a question. So, but I know what happens because I'm verbose. You tend to tell your whole life story. So no life stories, guys. So who
Talk show host together.
well, yeah, you don't need to hear my whole story. That's another thing. that's an epic. Anyway, so we've got Trent, Tamara, and Sandra. So we're not going to use last names. But who are you sensing you'd like to go with first?
Well, I'll let you choose whoever called in first, perhaps.
Oh, well, that would be Sandra.
Yeah, Sandra. Let's bring Sandra in.
Okay, so Sandra, she's unmuted. There you go.
Hi, Sandra.
Good evening, bro.
Hello. And so, did you have a question that you wanted to pose tonight, and how about this? Ask your question. I'll do a reading, and then after which, if you'd like to tell a story about anything you've experienced, that might be interesting. What do you think? Okay.
I have not had any dreams about my husband for several months now, which is unusual. I was just wondering why.
Okay. Yes. There's 2 things that I sense right away. On one level, he is stepping back a little bit on purpose. And that's to communicate to you that your time is not near. You have time on earth. You're still meant to be doing things down here. Now, the reason he would step back to convey that to you is because he's in a non-verbal way trying to tell you to focus more on your life and the family here for now. There's another reason, though. He's been doing more work in the behind the scenes, like behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. He's working on new ways of getting assigned to you. I'm getting a strong fragrance, perhaps Old Spice or something similar. A cologne that might have tobacco naturally in it. Not that you'd smell tobacco, but it's got tobacco notes in it. So it's a little more masculine, a little more musty. And I'm getting a sense of flickering lights and playing with screens. I feel that he's largely around a son, one of your sons right now, because I see him helping him through, trying to give him advice on things to do with his career, because he's got a lot of new responsibilities on his plate, this particular adult son. And so he's very proud of his son, and he's really trying to guide him right now. So there's a lot of different elements that are causing him. Now, the one thing you need to remember, Sandra, is that in his side of life, in the spirit world, time is different because they're vibrating faster than the speed of light by our metrics. So they're ultra terrestrial. So when you haven't seen him for months, from his vantage point, it's only been days or weeks. So he didn't realize that much time necessarily is going by for you. But he also is orchestrating all of these things that I outlined. And would that be Dave?
Yes.
That's Dave, your husband. Okay. And he's also with a Martha or a Margaret or something. Is that his mother or his aunt or his grandma? It's a mother, and it's a matriarch though.
No.
Okay, keep that in mind. It might be slightly different. It's an M initial though, but that's an important person in the spirit world he's reconnecting with. I think one of the kids, maybe your daughter, is going to do some family tree work on Dave's side, and you're going to come to know who that is later on. But going back to the other messages about the specific signs he's working on more, and you're going to start to get those. Have you had any of them yet?
No, but I can tell you something that's happening right now.
Sure, yes.
I am tasting tobacco strongly.
So he's creating that for you to let you know he will be doing this, and that's him right now. And you're not someone who can normally just fantasize and imagine things like that. That you're tasting it. It's
I've
happening.
never smoked in my life.
Yeah, and it's like it's pungent, eh? Like you can almost smell it, how strong it is. You taste it, yeah. So that's him with you right now. That's good old Dave, and he's doing a little funny dance, like an Irish jig or something. He's just kicking his feet, just giggling right now. And what about your son? Is he helping his son go through a new job position?
Yes.
Yeah, it's almost like a lot of responsibility put on your son's shoulders, and his dad is giving him advice when he's sleeping at night. So he'll wake up with inspired ideas, your son will. And he'll also wake up with a sense of calm, and that's Dave doing that for him. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're wonderful. You know
I'm
that.
wonderful. You're wonderful, Sandra.
I had a reading with you in the fall.
Oh, really? Okay.
And you told me that there was a wedding coming, and I would know about it before January. And Christmas, my granddaughter came with her new fiancé.
What a Christmas present that is. Oh my goodness. So they had proposed just before, I suppose.
The night before.
On Christmas Eve. That's very romantic. Oh, a sly devil that kiddo is, huh?
You also told me that I would have a grandson who would be going to Europe to work.
Mm-hmm.
He's now in England.
Oh,
and he went in December.
oh my God. See, I don't remember anything because I do readings every day. But I hear that. I was like, was I there for that? I said that? That's
did.
incredible.
I've got you on tape.
There's evidence. Okay. All right, Sandra, we might need you to send that in for the files.
But Brough, you have been very much a godsend to me, because whenever I have talked to you, I have felt so much relief, and the stress goes away. So thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. That means a lot. And so, and I think today what Dave wants to convey to you is that he's never far. It's just he's working on some new signs because he didn't want you to get bored of the old ones. And that's how he was in your marriage. You guys always came up with new fun little things, eh? Like you were silly together.
Well, you just described that silly little two-step and tap that he used to do whenever he accomplished something and he wanted to make me laugh.
All right. Well, good work, Dave. That's incredible. He's a very communicative spirit. And can I ask, how did you find me originally? Was it through referrals or?
Strictly by accident.
Oh, really?
I just happened to be scrolling one night and ran across one of your videos, and just I had just recently lost my husband
Hmm.
and was looking for something to distract me. And you have done so much to help me. My husband and I were extremely close, and I no longer fear death in any way, shape, or form because I know he's there waiting for me.
Right. Yeah. 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 He's showing me two things while you share all of that with me. I'm listening to you and I'm hearing him too. He's showing me about, don't worry, even though you can't necessarily get out and do the gardening right now, your daughter's going to do something really special for the two of you and for him in the garden. And it's a specific kind of flower. There's two. There's a plant that could yield something that's edible, but there's also something with I don't know if it's a mauve or almost a purplish color to it. It's reddish purple or pinkish purple. And there's going to be something like that that's going to honor him and be in her garden in that new house. And the other thing is that your granddaughter who got engaged on Christmas Eve, that's going to be a really good marriage. And I was just getting the feeling from him that your love story has been imbued into all the children and the grandchildren. And so it's actually a good guide, and they can use it as a metric in their own lives to see what the difference between real love is and what real love is. And my parents were true loves, and you could say soulmates like you and Dave. And it really had set up quite a precedent for us. You know, we know the difference. We had this old dog named Gypsy, ironically. We had rescued her from the streets and in the 80s. And Gypsy had been very terribly abused in her prior life. And so she would be very skeptical of men. And she would growl and nip at my dad's ankles if he raised his voice or anything. She was an Australian cattle dog, so you can imagine she was like, oh, it's bred into her. And every day my dad would wear, even in the middle of the hottest summer, he'd have these huge, thick wool socks to protect his ankles because he'd come home from work and scoop my mother up in his arms and give her a big kiss with the dog biting him every day. And so, see, that's love, you see. And I feel like you guys have a very similar story. So it's just a beautiful
Apparently,
thing.
that's very true because the grandsons that married told both of their fiancés before they were married that they wanted a marriage just like mine and Dave's.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll be dancing again together in his arms. He's never far.
What? That was so much a part of our life.
Mhm. Mhm.
The dancing was very, very strong. We loved it right from the moment we met as teenagers.
That's beautiful. I have a client who's a widow. He's in his late 70s, early 80s, and he told me his wife came through in the reading, and I got the special nickname. And I don't. Okay, I'm putting out a new request here on the show. Nobody better put me through this, okay, tonight, because you're gonna make me look foolish. But he goes, bro, we had a special nickname. What was it? And I go, Pookie Bear? And he goes, that's it, you got it. And my colleague Deborah Hooper, who's a great medium up in Barrie, she got it too, but she didn't get the bear part. She just said Pookie. So apparently I won over Deborah on that one, which is my only win over Deborah because I think she's better than me in a lot of ways. But anyway, he met her, Sandra, he met his wife, his late wife, at the Sadie Hawkins dance. And she was the one who approached him to dance, which was very cute, I thought, when they were teenagers.
Well,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
met on a blind date. There were 6 of us, and the 6 of us were brought together by another couple who were already dating.
Mhm.
And I was supposed to be going with one of the other fellows.
Mhm.
But I walked into the room and he just kept staring at me. And that was it.
Beautiful.
We had 63 years together.
Wow. Incredible to fathom. Yeah. What do you think about this, Sandra, before we let you go here? Because I want to be respectful of your time. But, um, this notion had been coming to me lately that all the love that we have to give, we pay for with tears at some point in time. It's a tough one to fathom. It's very Dostoevsky it's a little Slavic, but I don't know. I keep seeing this in my work. It's that the love is real and it matters, but we do pay for it in tears at some point. So everyone is lucky, but I think that might be why they say love is not for the faint of heart.
Well, it was worth every minute of it. In the 5 years since then, I'm still paying for it,
Mm,
but it was worth it.
yeah. And think of all the guidance of given to the kids and the grandkids as examples. I always say teach by example. I don't tell people what to do, which is ironic. I'm a psychic. People want me to say what to do. I don't say what to do. I just say what I see. And I try to live by example. So thank you, Sandra, for sharing all that. It's amazing.
My
Thank you,
goodness.
Bill. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Well, thank you so much, Sandra. And how heartwarming your story is. And bro, Pookie Bear.
Pookie Bear. It popped out of my mouth.
I'm just going to call you Pookie Bro.
Pookie Bro, yeah. Well, they call me Boogity Boo. My niece and nephews do. 'Cause
That was, by the way, that clumpy clump was my big cat jumping on he hides every time people come over, but when I'm on the computer, of course, he's on the table. So that was him.
Yeah.
So the next person who called in would be Tamara.
Tamara.
So Tamara, you may unmute.
Hello there, it's me.
Hi, Tamara. So do you
Hi,
have a
bro.
question? Hello.
Yes, actually. It's kind of an interesting question, I think. But my mother and I had something that we used to say to one another.
Oh, she's going to
For
do it to me.
most,
See? I
pardon
had
me?
to open my big mouth. Remember, because of the Pookie Bear. I said, don't do this to me, people. I knew you were going to do this. Anyway, are you
Well, no,
asking?
no. It's something that, yeah, it is something that we used to communicate to one another all the time. And on her deathbed, we said it again. And I always feel that it was very poignant, and it to this day, I rely on those words. Do you have an idea if those
Well, if she,
words still hold true? You
yeah,
don't have to tell.
I think they do. If
Okay.
she comes forward, if I can connect with her, which is I don't know if that'll happen, but if I can, then for sure she'll probably give that to me. There's two things that pop into my mind, even when you were talking. Was I think your mother is responsible for bringing butterflies and birds. Like I'm getting more blue than red and yellow. I'm getting more the blue kind of thing. So I feel flying animals will be drawn to you. That's not the word. It's not connected to the phrase, but it is something she does since her passing. And I'm also getting a lot of organs shutting down. Did she have a cancer that led to complications?
She had kidney shutdown. Yeah, her kidneys
Yeah.
shut down.
Like going into like shutdown, and I'm like, what caused this? I guess it was just complications from other health stuff over the years, eh? She's all right though, and she's not been gone that long. Is this only 2-3 years?
Well, actually, closer to 5, but that's not long.
Yeah, what's with the pandemic made it feel like that was like nothing? It's like the world started again in 2023, I feel like. Don't you
Yeah,
feel that too? Yeah.
yeah, I do feel
She
that.
went 5 years ago, so right in the beginning of the pandemic. Yeah, that's tough. So anyway, but you took very good care of her, I feel. She's coming in dreams as well as a sign. Now, the only thing that I'm sure this is not the phrase, but I just want to almost be like to the moon and back. Like I just want to sling on I love you in a more poetic way. And
Mhm.
I just that's the gist of it. But it's kind of like when I had a couple of clients that had a nickname for their dad, and the nickname happened to be the captain because he had a sailboat. And it was this big rigmarole for them to have to move the damn thing across the country after he passed away. So what I saw in their reading when they go, what's his nickname? I said, I don't know what his nickname is, but I keep seeing sailboats. And that was sufficient for them as a symbol. You see what I'm saying? So all I get is like to the moon and back. I don't know why, but I just keep seeing the moon and the stars and your mom being with you, watching over you. So I don't know that I have her here with us at this time, but I have a sense that I'm getting this through kind of a remote viewing, if you will. So it's going to be very symbolic as opposed to hearing from them directly.
I understand.
Whereas with our previous caller, Sandra, like as soon as Dave brought up tobacco, she started tasting it which is another paranormal theme. When we've sat in circles in seance, we've tasted the smells in the room. We had the scent of roses that were so pungent your eyes would water, and then that turned into candy cane, and then that turned into sulfur after that, and people were choking. And spirit can do that; they can manifest aromas and stuff. But Dave was there, is my point, in the room with her while she was on the call. I'm not sure your mom's with us right now, but I think she's up there. And was there an Elizabeth or a Betty that's special to your mom?
Yeah, Elizabeth. Yes.
Is that her sister or her aunt?
A relative, but not a sort of an.
Because I'm going more sibling energy. So what kind of relative? Like a cousin or?
Through marriage, actually. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So yeah, like sister-in-law sort of thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's, yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. She's up there, and I don't know why she's being mentioned. Did she pass away similar timing to Mummy, or is there
No.
maybe?
I really don't know. I do know that they were quite close, and yeah, I'm not really sure what the
They're
relevance is.
around. They're around each other because they're close,
Yes.
but also this time of year, you might find that you run into that side of the family, or that you find out that Betty had passed at this time of year. So you can look into that. And an A name is being placed above your mother, so that's either her initial or one of her relatives that's with her in the spirit world. Do you know who the A would be? It's with her up there. I'm
I
gonna
can't honestly say.
I want to go AL with it, so I'm gonna leave that with you to look into.
Sure.
But so now I want to be careful because I don't want you to tell me the phrase if you're going to have a proper reading with me. But is the symbol I'm getting something related to it? Is it a complicated poetic form of "I love you," like to the moon and back?
Well, I'll just tell you what it is. I'll share it with everybody. My mother and I used to say to each other, "We will be together forever," and which is similar to what you're saying. It's the same concept. But right on her deathbed, I said it to each other, and I asked her, "Mom, would you please visit me?" And she said she would. And I do feel that she visits me, especially when I'm upset. I feel her presence heavily. And when you say the birds, it's very interesting because I have a strong connection with birds. I love birds, all birds. I actually have a lovebird that is blue
Oh,
crow.
really? Okay.
Yes. So you did mention a blue.
Blue,
You were mentioning blue, the color blue, and birds. So there you go.
beautiful. And you might notice something unusual with a bluebird or even a hummingbird this summer that acts up around you, and that's going to be your mom sending it. I think it'll be a hummingbird because I couldn't tell if it was a bird or a butterfly, and hummingbirds and butterflies both sip nectar. So they're both flower-driven, creatures, and they come in blue. So I'm going to leave that with you as a sign coming up soon because it'll be in June or July, I'd say. So put that hummingbird feeder out, but this one will act strange. And now you're not one to typically get tattoos, but have you thought about some form of a tattoo for your mom?
Um, I can't say I have. No.
See a little tasteful one, like I don't know if it's on the wrist or the ankle, but it's somewhere like just a little thing, like a little memento to
Yeah,
remember. It's different for people. Some people do jewelry, some people do different things. Some people make a park bench with the name on it. But I don't know. I
right.
feel a piece of art for you and your mom.
That would be nice. Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one more initial I'm getting. Oh God, I hope it's for her, but I'm getting an S initial. So is S for your mom or one of the other relatives that might be up there?
S. Let me
Yeah,
see.
Susan or
Um,
Sarah or
I can't connect with that right now. I'm
it'll come to
sorry.
you as soon as we hang up.
Yeah, it
It's
probably
always,
will. I'm not really used
yeah.
to doing shows like this, so it's quite
But
possible I'm just blanking it. But yeah.
but even in private readings, they're like I'd say if I'm getting a lot of names around a loved one in spirit, it's because they were people that were special to her when she was younger. So you're going to look into it
Oh,
and find, yeah. These were special aunts and up to the level of grandparents even for her, I would say, as just other than Betty, because Betty and her were like buddies. Yeah.
right.
But you took a lot of good care of her when her organs were shutting down, and I feel like you were really front row center for your mom and handled a lot of the affairs, and she's very proud of you. And a lot of this I'm getting through
Oh,
your viewing. Yeah.
That is true. Not just myself, but my brother and my sister. We all did.
Yeah, you really did. She was very well taken care of. So she's in a good place. She's happy. Yeah.
Oh,
Do you have any other
wonderful.
questions?
Can you repeat that, please?
Do you have any other questions? I really thought you were going to ask about work or something in your life.
No, I'm not so much interested in that, but
You know
yeah.
it's going to go crappy anyway. You don't want to get the news ahead of time. I know how this game goes. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but I actually am drawn to your work a little bit because I actually see a new opportunity in either June or July.
Ah,
I have a feeling somebody is either stepping aside or moving up, and you get this opportunity to toss your name in the hat for a role of some kind that you haven't done before. And I just feel like it's kind of one of those lateral moves that's just interesting and keeps things fresh.
wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And my
And
financial status as a result, will that change?
yeah, I think a little bit better. I think a little bit better. Every little bit counts, you know.
Yes.
But I think in this particular move, it'll result in being good on your resume for an even better position later on. Like in the next 3.5 to 4 years, you could find yourself in a higher management role in your field as a result of this. So I think sometimes these small moves are necessary in the grand scheme of things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep
I have
that.
one more question that
Before you do, just
sorry?
one more detail. A D, like a Deborah or a Donna or something, is going to be part of the work scenario. So if you know someone yet,
Oh,
but if you don't know, find out. Okay,
I do actually.
who's that? Who's that at work? Say their name and what they do.
Well, it's not somebody at work. It's somebody that actually is trying to get me to do some work for them in the summer. So it's interesting that you're saying that, and their name does start with D. So
Is it
yes,
like a Dawn or a DN?
it's a male's name actually. It's
Oh, okay. You don't have to say it
yeah,
if you don't want to, but
yeah. I prefer not. But yeah,
I think the D is going to be important. I didn't even see gender really. I just think the D is going to be
okay.
important for work and in the summertime. So there you go. So maybe a little bit of work on the side could lead to something more later down the road. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. A little heads up. What was the other thing you wanted to ask, hon?
I think it's really important, especially eh, the way the world is right now. Does one infuse more love into their life,
Hmm.
in all aspects, so that it's sometimes hard to do when there's a lot of negativity around. How do we defy that and just sort of bring more light, love into all aspects of life to just sort of maintain that? And you know what I'm saying?
Well, in my case, it's to stop making manic Facebook posts, which people have probably noticed on my page. I'm doing my
Yeah.
part. You know,
Okay.
uh, turn off the news, all the classic stuff. Actually, Viktor Frankl, who survived the concentration camps in Nazi Germany, he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. And an interesting thing the doctor had found was that happiness and satisfaction do not come from getting what you want, but actually coming from having meaning in your life. And that actually, if you have a sense of meaning and purpose and even a spiritual foundation, and for some that's religion. I'm a Christian. For others, it's just more of an abstract spirituality. Other people, it could be art, it could be music, it could be. And when you kind of live for a higher cause like that, then even when the storms come, you can weather them much better. And that's actually proven. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, who's a biologist, has done and participated in many studies of telepathy and psychic phenomena. But one of the interesting things he studied was religious people and how they tend to be healthier, live longer, and have more successful lives. And he surmises, as a scientist and an atheist, an agnostic really is what he is what he calls himself. He said, well, maybe you don't even have to believe in supernatural entities to know that following some higher meaning gives you purpose and it actually increases your successes in life. And I think that's true fundamentally. Now, I happen to know from experience that it is because there are supernatural orders to the universe that we don't understand. And that when you ally yourself to those, then you're going to bring in more positivity. So the answer is spirituality. And that's when you think about it,
Okay.
look at all the problems in our society right now. They are coexisting with the decline of spirituality and the increase in materialism.
Yes.
And so I think we've turned away from the things that give us meaning, and we wonder why we're depressed. Nietzsche, the great philosopher, said God is dead, and we will never be able to wash away the blood. That's the second half of the quote that people forget. And
Right.
what he meant by that was, if we give up on spirituality, we turn into a death cult, which is about what we are, especially with the MAIDS program in Canada. And some interesting
Wow.
people starting to have conversations about, if you're over the age of 75, you need to stand before a committee and tell us why you shouldn't be euthanized. That's the kind of world they want to create. They being
Um,
some of the individuals behind a lot of the things that have happened in the last few years. But Bro keeps trying to tell people, nobody listens. Anyway, how you want to bring positivity and spirituality. It's the answer.
okay, wonderful. That is wonderful. You've been really helpful,
Oh,
extremely
thank you.
helpful. Thank
Have you
you.
had a reading privately with me before?
No, but I think I'd like to.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's a very different thing. Like I said, you don't have to ask questions, and a lot more detail comes through in a reading. But I'm glad this has helped. Tamara, how did you find me? Through Facebook or something?
No, no, no. Through Joyce. Joyce, we had spoken
Oh, you're
about you.
completely. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. This is really cool. I like this. Yes, I like this. I had a client. This must have been 2 months ago. Say my husband and I had a secret code between the two of us, and it's like a code. I said, well, it's numbers, and she goes, you're getting warm. And I saw
Wow.
like a 4 and a 3, and she goes, bro, it was 1, 4, and 3, and
Oh,
and she said we had pocket pagers. So what 1, 4, 3 means is I love you. Actually, it's 1, 3, 4, because the 3 is like a heart, the 1 is like an I, and the 4 was like a U in a way. It's like I love you, and that was their. But I saw 3 and 4, so I didn't get the full thing. But it's a good question to ask, and when you prep for your reading, you can have your mother. You can even change your name so I don't know it's you having the reading, and you can have your mother try and give that same message.
oh, that would be wonderful.
It's a great way to validate. Yeah.
Certainly
All right.
is.
Thank you, Tamara. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you, bro. It's been wonderful and very nice to meet you too. Thank you.
Well, there you go, Tamara. I'm so glad you came on tonight, and bro, yeah, I really like what you have to say about the spirituality aspect of things, because we have become a materially driven society, especially when you can just look at your phone and shop wherever you want, get it whatever you want, and credit and whatever, you know.
The old Amazon
And the old
boxes.
Amazon, yeah, you don't even have to leave your house to get stuff. You can just
And,
stay
and
there and it's delivered to you.
all kinds of unintended side effects, like the death of the American mall. I've been thinking about lately, because when we don't have to
know.
go out to brick and mortar stores, we don't have to, and even just the ma and pa businesses, we used to have places to meet, to congregate, but now everything is text, everything is to your door. Everybody is atomized and separate instead
Hmm.
of being in one place, sharing the same culture and the same notions. And there's a sale at Zellers. We don't have that anymore.
Well, it reminds me of Frank Herbert's Dune, where they would sit in a room and with everything around them, everything just around them. They'd sit at a desk and they're fed. They're taken care of, everything. Anyway, we got to go to our last caller tonight, which is Trent. And Trent, you may unmute.
Hello there.
Hi, Trent.
Hey, bro. How are you?
Good. So, do you have a question for me tonight?
Well, I, without giving like any too much in depth to this question, I would just ask if maybe any of my loved ones in spirit would have any input about, let's just say, the situation that I'm having with my daughter.
Okay. By the way, your picture comes up on Zoom. Of course, everyone is listening, so they can't see. You've got beautiful eyes. You have almost, I think, your mother's upper facial features, very much. I think your mother and her family were very beautiful. My father's a very beautiful man, so his family, are very exceptionally beautiful. So I can see that too.
My mother's gorgeous, yes.
Yeah, your mom's gorgeous. And so your daughter now, do you have a son as well?
No, I don't.
Because I feel like there's this idea of mixed family somewhere. So I don't know if you come from a family that had kids that had different parents, or if you had been with a man that had a son with someone else at one point, or who knows, maybe that's the future. But your daughter, though, now you don't look this old, but she almost, to me, looks like she would be in her 20s already. Is that right?
That is right. That's correct.
22 or 24?
23.
20,
Almost.
right in between.
She'll be 20. She'll be 23 this year.
Fantastic. Oh, okay. So she's turning. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, she's on her way. She's gonna be a great healer. She's gonna be good at helping people orient themselves to get the most out of their potential in life. She hasn't gotten into that yet, though. But usually the people who go through struggles themselves end up being good healers. Isn't that interesting?
Mm.
Now, okay, so it's complicated because I don't really see you with her father.
That's correct.
And I get the feeling of her making bad choices in the company that she chooses to keep, because you know how they can be. They're like, Mom was crazy, I'm going to do everything different. And then they just do the same thing in a different form because she's stubborn. She's got to make her own mistakes. And but there's a boy, eventually a young man who I see with a J initial that I think is going to be really good.
She's
And
with her. The last that I heard of her love of her life that she's with now is a J.
is it like a Jason Justin or something? How do I say it?
His name is John.
John. Oh, okay. Because I wanted the N in there, Justin or John. Okay. Because my dad's name is John, and I wouldn't have gotten that. But that JN, and so I think he's good, and I think he's actually a really good influence. He's a hard worker. I think your daughter's going to come around and realize that life isn't so black and white, and she's going to start to talk to you again. I don't know the details of the situation, but that's what I'm told.
That's exactly it. She is not. She hasn't talked to me, and it's been years, and I'm just wanting to. I'm ready for this reconnect. I feel like I've done the work and done the growth, and I'm at the point now where I know I can. I've become the person that I know she can. I don't be proud of. But I just I can't. She hasn't opened that door yet.
When she gets married to John, and when they start to work through life a little bit, and when she has a little girl, I think she's going to reconnect with you more officially. And I think John's a good influence. I think he's going to encourage that. But yeah, it's really painful what you're going through. I understand that feeling. I've been cut out by kiddos before, and it's really tough, especially when you know that you could have been better, but you were going through a lot at the time, and you had to do a lot without help. I want to add.
Absolutely, 100%.
You had to kind of be both father and mother, and you can't be both and do a good job at either. It's like chewing and talking. You can't do either one very well. You have to pick one, and you had to make compromises. And what's that phrase? Compromises where both parties walk away equally dissatisfied.
Right. And you were right. I was going through so much at the time that I couldn't be the person that I needed to be for her. And unfortunately, she got to see just the worst part of me, because I was under such stress as going through what I was going through. She couldn't understand that at her age. And it's been years now. I'm like, when is this happen?
I think, and what if it is closer to her being 24? That's probably why I saw from 22 to 24.
I'm trying to think. She was born in 2002, so so this year she would be 23 now, right? Wait.
So it could be another year and a half, 2 years roughly. But I think she'll be facing marriage, and I think she'll be facing having a little girl. And when that granddaughter comes in, you'll be around. Yeah.
Oh, I
I
have to
have a
wait.
feeling, you and I haven't really talked, but I have a feeling we're going to have a proper reading as well. I don't know. I'm being told that. So if you, but this sounds like shameless self-promotion, but if you book a reading, I think we're going to get into it, but make sure it's a full hour, because I have a feeling you've got quite a story.
Yeah, you would know. I've got some weird stuff going on here too, so that's a whole nother beast,
Yeah. And what about, I'm getting a new puppy. Are you thinking about a puppy?
I have my living situation right now does not it just isn't conducive to adding right now.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
want one,
In the future, and I'm getting almost maybe a husky mix or something. I'm getting
Oh,
white.
no, that's the one breed I said I would never get, because there's just no, that's the one that maybe no, that's the one breed I said I'd never get, actually.
It's funny. What if it's not a husky, but it's some white or grayish white dog that's smaller or something? It's just funny. Your guide knows you wouldn't want a husky, so they play tricks on me sometimes. But
That's
They
funny.
call me probably. Yeah.
You named the one breed. I said I will never get a husky ever.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. You love to torture yourself, I feel.
Actually, I'm a pet sitter, and this one people I tried pet sitting for had a husky, and I said nope, I'm not pet sitting for them ever again, because the husky I just couldn't deal with it. They're just too vocal, and yeah. The barking would just give me a mini heart attack every time.
I don't know
So
if anyone's ever correlated this, but like Siamese cats, which I have, every blue-eyed animal tends to be really, really vocal. It's very interesting.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, so your girl will come back. She'll talk to you again. And I think you might end up with a man who had a son.
Well, my ex-husband does have a son, but
Oh, okay. That might have been the past then. Yeah, that might have been past. Was he almost 12 or 11 when you came into the picture?
he was, yes. Mhm.
Yeah. That's the past. Okay, so you won't end up with a man with a son. Never mind. That was the
No,
past.
I'm done with getting no, I'm done with men.
You're sending a return sender. That's right.
So happy to be single. If you wanna, I'm just so happy to be single, yeah.
Well, what it is with you, tell me what you think about this. I think it'd have to be a companion, that you share your life. Maybe he has his own place, you have your own place. And over time, if things are working really well, I mean, you might as well live together. But it's not going to be a traditional, you're not looking to walk down the aisle with anybody.
Absolutely not. Third time will not be a charm for me.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I think so. I think there's going to be, and he might have a D initial. And it's not the guy at work. It's not the work guy. It's just a funny coincidence. But he might have a D initial. So it'll be interesting if I do a proper reading.
Was a D. My stepfather was a D name, so.
Okay, yeah. Well, synchronicities in life. But if I do a private reading, I probably won't remember anything I've said here. So it'll be interesting if it lines up, or if you see anyone else for that matter. A lot of psychics who are worth their salt will see the same things. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send people to Deborah, who I mentioned earlier. I'll send people to my colleague Suzanne, and my clients tell me that all three of us say the same things. It's incredible. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, my friend. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Trent and Tamara and Sandra, for joining us tonight. We're not finished yet, though, bro. We're not finished. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Oh, we still got a few minutes. And as I always ask you if you have any insights, or I hate to use predictions, but prognostications, because I see you as a prognosticator of events or whatever. We've got so much going on, and March is supposed to be such a crazy month into April with all the astrological placements. It's kind of gone crazy. It's like the stars gone wild, And do you have anything you want to share with the audience tonight?
Yeah, it's gonna be a real. We're going to need our spirituality. We're going to need to clutch those rosaries and go back to our roots of meaning, because we're going to see a huge uptick in crime and all sorts of things around. I think in Canada, I think the Conservative Party currently will win the election upcoming. Thank God. But
Yes.
They're not the best choice, but they're better than the alternatives. And I think we're going to start to see things coming to more hammered out agreements. I don't think we're going to be put under tariffs by Trump. I think all that's going to get hammered out, and I think most people don't understand what that's even about. And there's no point in me going into it, because nobody will listen anyway. But I do see things working out for the most part. But we're going to see next year, coming into the fall, a lot more stability in the world. And when people start to see the results of things changing, they're going to start to calm down a little bit, because a lot of people are freaking out, because when you have corruption at the levels that we've had it's going to take equally bombastic solutions, and people are focused on the bombastic aspect instead of actually asking themselves whether this is a solution that's viable to a real problem that has existed. Many people talk about, in America, the children in cages. People don't realize, and they've been lied to, that those children were sex trafficked across the border, and they don't have parents, that they were kidnapped and they were sex trafficked. And we don't want to put them back in the foster care system, where they were being put into work in factories underage, and when they were being prostituted out by their foster parents. No, we don't want to put them back there. Yes, we have to find solutions to these problems. And the truth is not being conveyed in the media. So the best thing I can say is, don't listen to the news. Find boots on ground journalists. They exist. Real journalism is still out there, and it's always independent, and it's always been that way. They've always been the rebels. When did we forget? When did we forget that when the corporations and people in power say that someone is bad, that person that they're saying is bad is actually the good guy? When did we forget this ancient wisdom?
Well, we're at a place where truth is lie and lie is truth. You know, I would say that I've shared this with a lot of people that I would say let's go back to 1925. What was happening then, and all the changes that were happening in the world. They were so. I mean, they were huge and life altering because you came from horse and buggies and no electricity and all of that stuff and technology started to come in I mean, we're 100 years later, we're there again. We're about to make another leap into an incredible time. I believe it's going to be so amazing. I really feel it. But in order to break it all down to get there, it's going to be rough. It's a rough ride. It's not going to be easy. But I do believe that it's going to be an incredible.
Well, let's not forget too. A couple of years after that, in the 1920s, the New York Times put out articles about how this Hitler guy's not such a bad guy. That's what the Times.
Yeah.
And records of this. Again, with the media. And so the media, see, what I predicted years and years ago was that in the 22nd century, historians will look back at the greatest invention being the global communication network, which is the satellites and then the internet, sort of simultaneously they came around. It's the first time that the whole world was able to communicate in real time. And that actually has a huge effect on us.
Absolutely.
That's why the most prominent tool being used by people who don't like us and don't like you and don't like me are people using information technologies. And so that's the biggest thing. And, you're right. We're coming into an age of great wonder and beauty and good things, but we need to be strong, steadfast in our values.
Absolutely.
What good is knowledge without love to guide it?
Yeah, and that spirituality is universal. The spirituality will not change. It is a constant. And that's the thing that we can grab onto. No matter what we're going through, that's our safe place. That's our calm water. Is our spirituality. So, that's what you told Tamara. Absolutely. That's right, Absolutely. So that's cool. Well,
I think we did it. I think we pulled it off. What did you think of it? Is it okay?
How's it? Does everyone want to chime in a little bit at the end? Start with you, Sandra. A couple of sentences.
Yeah, put Sandra on the spot.
I'm putting everyone on the spot. That's me, eh?
I didn't think I was going to have another opportunity to say anything.
Well, yeah, not a question, just final thoughts, and that like before we go off with our song and our extra.
At some point, I will ask Brough a question about another grandson that he had told me about.
Okay.
I'll be doing a live stream again on Facebook. This is a good opportunity, actually.
Oh, yeah. Tell people about your live streams on Facebook. That's another opportunity for short reading.
So you could look me up if you use Facebook, Psychic Medium Brough Perkins, and I'm sure Joyce will have a link to my page as well. And I do live streams every week, so I'll go on camera and I'll take calls live just like this. But, we'll do little readings, have questions, answers, and I talk about stuff, and I show some cool ghostly videos that clients send in of apparitions they've caught on camera.
Exactly. So, Tamara, you have any final thoughts there? Hello?
I think it's really important. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, wonderful. I really, again, the spirituality, I think that conquers all. I believe that, and I will continue to believe in that for the rest of my life. My mother was very spiritual, and yes, I agree with that. And anyway, I thank you.
Tamara, did you keep your mother's apron, or is it a symbol of kitchen stuff between you two?
I did keep something on my mother's. It's a scarf that she's had she wore when we were kids.
I have a scarf from. Yeah, I'm getting an apron now. That to me symbolizes cooking and or baking. But was your mom more of like an oven person?
She loved to bake pies, apple pies. Yes.
do that for her coming up, and being this time of year, she thinks it'll comfort you, and it connects you psychically to them when we do things that they love to do. Yeah.
Oh,
And not
wonderful.
just like a normal apple pie. Sometimes I feel like there'd be a different kind of pie, like a rhubarb strawberry, and maybe even some meat pies too.
Yes, she loved rhubarb. We had it in our backyard, and we used to, pick it and yes, wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. How, that's amazing. How about you, Trent?
Yeah, I just want to just say that the one thing I've learned in the most recent years of my own spiritual awakening is that we are all of the same tapestry. We all came from the spirit world. We'll all go back to the spirit world, and we're all connected. And those who have crossed over into the spirit world, they are only gone in body. They are not gone in any other way. And all we need to do is talk, and they can hear us. And so they're just that. They're just that far away. They're not gone. So when we feel alone and we feel like no one's there anymore and we've lost all our loved ones, it's not that way. They are there. They want us to talk to them because they can hear us, and they want us to reach out because they're there to support us, love us, and guide us just in a different way and from a different realm.
Death is an
Ah,
optical illusion.
mm. The
Love
veil
it.
is very thin. It really is.
Perfect. Perfect.
That was beautiful, Trent. Thank you so much, Tamara. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Bro. And so you can go to broperkins.ca and book a reading there. And I'll put more information in the description box of this podcast, how you can see him on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So again, thank you so much, everyone. Well, we're just going to go out with our, I'm going to actually play a song, Chris Burkett's song from his She's My Guitar, his latest album. It's called Mystery. And I think this actually encapsulates exactly all the spiritual things we were talking about this evening. Bro, thank you so much for being so generous with your time and your talent.
I love it. Thank you. Talk to you all soon.
Okay, Pookie Bear. love you, kid. Here it is, Mystery. This is Chris Burkett. Enjoy this while we go out, girls and boy. Okay.
Why do I not see the light, even though it's shining right in front of me? Since the time I was a youth, I've been hiding from the truth inside of me. There's a fire that burns eternally, and it frees me from uncertainty. And it's there, right there, where I can see. That's the mystery. Mystery of love. When I look inside myself, I put my heart upon a shelf too high to reach. Saving for another day the message I was put on earth to speak. There's a fire that burns eternally, and it saves us from insanity. Always there, right there, where we can see. That's the mystery. Mystery of love. That's the mystery. Mystery of love. Hearts will You are listening to the Joyce Aldrich Show from Toronto, Canada. Paranormal and UFO Edition. Yes, we call them UFOs.
Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. Might be Venus or some unknown light, hovering a bit too long tonight. The lightning sheet, lightning with a balloon, or something strange out of a five-star cartoon.
Hey there, music lovers. Did you know that getting licensed to share music online is not just the right thing to do? It's also super important for supporting creators and the music industry. That's why we're proud to be licensed by SOCAN, a copyright collective that grants licenses for online music broadcasts in Canada. By getting licensed through SOCAN, you ensure that every beat, every note, and every melody that you play is compliant and fair to the creators. Join us in supporting the music community. Visit SOCAN's website at www.socan.com and get your web radio, podcast, or any other use of online music licensed today. Let's stream beautiful music together, legally and ethically. SOCAN. Music, people, connected.